We are back with the second question and answer podcast. And I'm so excited that this week we're going to focus on one question from one PerformerPreneur member, my client Lucy. You are listening to the Showbiz Side Hustle Podcast, powered by PerformerPreneur. Now, her and I have been working together one-to-one to build her new business. And I'm so excited to say that we are very close to opening that stage school that she has been planning for the past 6 months. However, I have never proclaimed to be the expert in every entity and every avenue and everything that comes up when building a business. I am, yes, your biggest cheerleader. Yes, I am experienced, but my best asset is the team and the support and the circle that I have access to around me. So drum roll please for the associates, the circle of trust that I bring to my clients, to my members, to you to answer those questions that I don't necessarily have all the answers to. So today's podcast is a question or two from Lucy, and I'll be opening up the answers to the associates to get their view. Here is Lucy and her 2 questions.
Hello. So this question is on operations and handover manuals. So you might have a few associates that can answer this from different point of views. So I'm setting up a performing arts school and I want to ensure that there's as much of my knowledge down on paper. So, I want to include training guidelines and operational information. I want it all to be documented from the very start. My goal is for the staff to be well trained, and to a high standard. I want it to be consistent across the school, and I just want everything to be super easy. So as the school does grow and staff are able to take on more responsibility, I want that to feel easy for myself to hand it over rather than feeling stressed as I've got nothing in place and it's all information that's in my head. So my first question would be, what are the best platforms or systems to use for sharing procedures, training materials and operational information with staff? And then my second question would be, what would you consider to be the most or the 5 most important systems or procedures that a performing arts school should have in place from the start? And again, this is just to focus on supporting staff training and consistency within the school. Thank you. Look forward to hearing some answers.
As you can hear, it's quite an intricate question. So no wonder I opened it up to receive multiple answers from the associates. The first person to reply was Jess, and here is her informed answer.
This is really great and will really, really help you as you scale your school. I would highly recommend, as you're writing your ops manual, as you're getting everything out of your head and as you're setting everything up, use a tool called Scribe. I adore it. It is so good for ops manuals. And then a good booking system, a online booking system. I adore Pebble, but that's because I'm a franchise and I get my franchise fee at source. There are many, many fantastic booking platforms out there. I also use a CRM system called ESC Hub. Again, there are many out there, including Go High Level. There's one that a dance coach has released, which is exactly the same. So have a look around and get yourself a decent CRM that can store all of your training that you can then share with your teachers or with your whole community if you so wish. I hope that helps, and good luck with everything.
Jess is, as you can hear, an expert in this. She has built and scaled and now franchises her very own circus school. So she knows absolutely firsthand the systems and the processes needed to build that foundation so securely. Do your due diligence, like she says. There's lots of platforms and lots of things and systems you can use, so make sure you choose the right one for you. Next up, I'm going to throw it over to Hannah. Hannah has got a very different perspective on this starting point, and it's really interesting to hear all different views so that you can make the right decision for you. Here's Hannah's reply.
Regarding your systems and like what you should even use in order to create your SOPs, I also second Scribe. that is a fabulous platform to really document kind of any process that you need other people to be able to follow and to see. What's also really great about it is that it's visual as well as text. So it works really well for anything, system management, register creation, anything that people might want a visual aid alongside it. So I would also highly recommend Scribe. Obviously, as mentioned by Jess as well, an effective CRM would be able to house that. But in the interim, whilst you're building the school up, keep it simple. Your Google Drive, amazing, or Dropbox, it's shareable and it's secure. Pop any files, SOPs, anything in there, and it can be accessed at any point. I would also recommend putting together almost like an employee handbook type guide, or almost like an instruction manual, really. Popping everything in there and linking those SOPs directly in the document so that your staff can, if they come across an issue whilst they're working, they can go straight to the handbook, find the area that they need to look at and follow a link directly to the SOP. That would be how I would do it. As the business grows, as the school grows, and you do look at incorporating a bigger CRM or something, absolutely move it all in there. That's where it's meant to go. But whilst the business is in its infancy and it's starting, keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate that element of things.
Thank you, Hannah from HVA. Keep it simple is her word of advice at the beginning of your business building journey. I'm going to throw it over now to Victoria. Within the associate circle, Victoria is the person who we would reach out to when it comes to running and building your studio. So she's the perfect person to answer Lucy's questions. She is living and breathing that business as we speak. In fact, she has just celebrated 20 years as a dance school business owner. So here is Victoria's very well-versed understanding of this exact area in the industry. Listen in.
My 5 procedures that would be really good for you to have in place from the get-go would be, number 1, the process you have for dealing with new inquiries. Number 2, onboarding those students into their taster classes and to full enrollments, really, really important. Number 3, your safeguarding, so important. Everybody needs to be on the same page in terms of safeguarding, and alongside that, as a number 4, all of your health and safety, fire evacuation procedures, first aid, anything to do with that needs to be super consistent. And number 5, anything to do with tracking progress and feedback for your customers. Again, you want that to be ultra consistent amongst your team, just to provide clarity for your customers. That, I think, those are my top 5 for you, that you just want to get really nice and clear for everybody in your team. In terms of what platforms I use, I love DanceBiz, which is part of ThinkSmart software. It's brilliant. It does all of your invoicing, registers, timetabling, financial reporting. That's really, really good. But there again there are loads of those types of products out there, so really good to do some research. But yeah, DanceBiz for me. And then in terms of sharing information, documents, etc., if you wanted to keep it really simple, good old Google Drive is great, because you can share those folders and files with your team. And I absolutely love Trello. We use Trello in our dance school. It's really nice and visual as well, which is quite nice sort of within the creative arts as well. So again, really, really useful for sharing across your team, sharing documents, and also you can all see the boards together, communicate. So really, really great again for following up. So for example, on those inquiries, tracking where everybody is at within the onboarding process for a particular customer. Again, talking about progress and feedback for your customers. Again, brilliant way to do that as well. Yes, it's a Trello. I love Trello. Good luck, and I hope that helps.
How exciting is this episode? These answers are given to you from experts in the industry, people who have lived and breathed building a business. I'm going to throw it out there next to Bookso. Bookso is in fact our spiritual guide, our spiritual healer within the circle. And so she has a very different perspective. If you recall within the questions, Lucy stated that she was building her business from scratch. She wanted all of the team to be on the same page, and she wanted the delivery to be consistent across all areas of the faculty. Bookso actually leans into that and has some advice for Lucy about building the brilliance of that faculty. So here's Bookso's answer.
So for me, it's all about the spiritual, emotional, physical and mental well-being of the staff. So relating to the EAP policies that people have within their workplace from a corporate perspective, I think it would be nice for the industry to start having well-being counsellors or well-being consultants on hand for the staff to access at any time they wish, knowing that they are catered to from their personal well-being perspective. I feel would create a culture of loyalty amongst the staff and a sense of being taken care of, thought of, considered by their employer, as I feel that this is very much a big part of a business being successful, is very much the people that work in it. But having been somebody who's people-centric, I feel that the business will only be as strong as the staff that run it. So consider having somebody on hand that can be called upon for the staff to interact with, engage with, make it maybe once a month, knowing that they have that option available to them should they need to discuss anything in their personal life.
I love that. Thank you, Bookso. And it's so, so important. It's a completely different angle to consider. And if you've listened, Lucy and anyone else here today, and thought, that is interesting, that's intriguing, then do know that you have Bookso within your circle of trust through the PerformerPreneur Associates to lean in on and to ask more questions. It's something that we are very passionate about in PerformerPreneur, that spiritual and mental and physical well-being, because that is what is going to build the best business, those foundations. And then my answer to the questions, I'm working with Lucy one-to-one, and we are building this business with my support and my understanding. But I just want to point you all to episode 84, because that speaks about the values, building a business that's truly you. And I think if you haven't already, Lucy, and anyone else listening or watching the podcast today, please do go pop back to episode 84 of the Showbiz Side Hustle Podcast, where I talk and share with you the understanding of where the values sit in that foundation of building your business, how you can use them in your operations, in your systems, in your process, in your recruitment, in your delivery of your school. Those values will shine through, and if you get them really pinned down at this pivotal beginning moment, you are going to be able to build on them and incorporate them every step of the way. And that, to me, is what shines through when we're talking about longevity, when we're talking about sustainability, financial viability, and just keeping hold of that team, like Bookso has said, and then enrolling more and more students, like Victoria said, and building those processes, systems, ops manuals, so that you can grow and grow and grow, like Hannah and Jess have nodded to. So please do listen to the episode, come back with your own questions. Here's a little ad and instructions of how to submit your questions for the associates. And if you need me directly, my DMs are always open. If you've been listening to this podcast and thinking, I wish I could ask a question about my situation, then this is your moment. For our up and coming Q&A episodes, I'm inviting you to submit your questions and get real personalised insight from me and my incredible PerformerPreneur associates. Whether you're stuck on social media, unsure how to grow your business, navigating a pivot, or trying to turn an idea into an income, we want to hear from you. All you need to do is head over to the PerformerPreneur website, hit the associate page and submit your question, and you could be featured in a future episode too. Your question answered. Your next step clearer. Go on, send it in. We can't wait to hear from you. Thank you, Lucy, one of my fabulous one-to-one PerformerPreneur clients and a valued member of the community, for submitting your question today. And I look forward to receiving many more questions that my associates and I can answer in the next few episodes. Big love, everybody. Good luck. Okay, guys, that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Thank you for joining me here on the Showbiz Side Hustle Podcast. So until next time, please do take a little bit of action, that very first step, and make sure that you are doing something for you and your Showbiz Side Hustle this week to move you forward and get you heading quickly and swiftly and strategically towards success.